expensive handhelds, and when I say expensive, I mean, you know, £150 plus. Are expensive handhelds worth the money? Well, they are worth the money, but not, well, sometimes if you're into PlayStation 2, Wii, you know, 3DS and that, then these kind of handhelds are for you. But if you're just into the retro, you know, Game Boy Color, Game Boy Advance, Mega Drive, Master System, Atari. I'm not going to include PlayStation 1 and PSP because I'm not quite sure they get into the older retro, you know. Maybe PlayStation 1. You can get lots of cheap consoles that play them. But are they worth it? Well, they are. And they're really good. Now, this is the Retro Pocket 3 Plus, and I've got to admit, this feels, without that, arguably the best handheld I've felt in the hand. It just feels such a premium device. It's got its own little kind of case and, you know, plastic things, shit like that. And it can play PSP games, PlayStation 1, you know, bit of PS2. But it goes on Android, which means you can download games. And on this one, I actually play quite a bit of Call of Duty Mobile. I'm absolutely shocking at it, but I play Call of Duty Mobile on this one. But it costs about 150 odd quid, 200 quid when new. It's not new, and I bought it second hand. But it's good, it's worth the money. But if you're just a retro person, just want to play retros, then it's not really for you. Now this is the, get it in screen. This is the Amberneck RG Cube. Again, this plays PlayStation 2, Wii, 3DS. Plays some good systems, but also it goes on online, the internet. You can play Android games on it. You can download. You know, I play a couple of good football games on this one. Really good football games like that I've downloaded from the internet. But you know, this is really good if you want that kind of thing. Again, if you just want retro, it's not. I wouldn't bother spending the money. Put the little bit of sponge back on, protects it. Always get cases, or try and get cases with my handhelds. Always do. Even if it's a cheap one, I think if you can get a cheap cheap case, it just protects it, make it last a bit longer. Now again, nice case. This is the Amberneck RG505, my favourite Amberneck car. I do like Amberneck. Now this, again, it costs about £150, brand new, maybe a little bit more, a bit less. This is another one. I think it's got about 11 PlayStation 2 games on this one. They all play well. It's got 3DS games, about 5 or 6, they play well. It's got Sega Saturn, you know, DS. It's got about 5 or 6 Wii games. Wii games play all right on it. And it's good. Again, you can go on the internet, do a bit of shopping, bit of browsing, watch YouTube. You know, if you're into that, then it's worth the money. But if you're just, like I said, if you're just into retro gaming, you know, and you just want to play Game Boy Advance, and you know, Mega Drive and all that jazz.
You fool! You like jazz?
You know, all that shit, or whatever you want to call it. It's probably not worth getting. Probably not worth getting. But if you're into the higher end, then it's worth getting a bit of retro. And this one is, I wouldn't call it a retro handheld because it's not really, but you can play retro games on it. And it is a Nintendo Switch Lite, Nintendo Switch Lite. This is good, but again, all I ever really do on this is play Fortnite, you know, and again, I'm pretty shit at that. But this is good, feels good quality. It's about 200 quid brand new, but you can get them for about £100 now second hand. It is good, and you can play retro games on it, but if you're just, like I've said, if you're just into retro gaming, these are not for you, really. You know, proper retro gaming. You know, me, I was born, well, a long time ago. And I'd say retro is an Atari 2600, all the Ataris, Atari Lynx maybe, Game Gear, Master System, Mega Drive, Game Boy, Game Boy Color, Game Boy Advance. That's what I would kind of call retro games, you know, retro handhelds and that. So these are worth it. Like I said, these are all over 150 quid. They are worth every penny if you want to pay the extra for the PlayStation 2 or the internet and all that. But if you just want a retro game, you just want to play a retro game, there's loads of games out, there's loads out there. You just get things like this. This is a £3.99 case, and this is a £10 handheld. This is the GB 300. GB 300. And if you look here, it plays PC Engine, plays it quite well. Famicom, which is Nintendo. Super Famicom, which is the Super Nintendo. You've got the Mega Drive, you've got the Game Boy, you've got the Game Boy Color, Game Boy Advance, a bit of MAME, and that's it. It's got quite a few games on it. You know, PC Engine 304, Famicom 868, Super Famicom 1166, Mega Drive 909 games, Game Boy 1142, Game Boy Color 1111, Game Boy Advance 621. There's more than enough games there for anybody. And for a tenner, if you throw in the case, you know, $13.99 for all this. This is fantastic. You know, you can't. This is such a hard. You know, it's so good. Plays the games really well. And my favourite game on the Game Boy is the Double Dragon game. Also, I like Ninja Turtle games on it, and you know, you got the original Tetris. Games like that. And my favourite game on the Mega Drive is Streets of Rage, and also like quite a few of the golf games on the Mega Drive. So there's at least, and Sonic the Hedgehog as well, there's at least 7-8 games that I really like on this, at least 7-8 games. And if you buy them second hand from a shop, it's going to cost you more than a tenner, innit? Well, anyway, mate, so something like this, if you just want to play the proper retro games, that's what I would go for. Let's turn this bad boy off. And you know what? For a tenner, it actually feels quite good as well. You know, not too bad. You can't moan at that. Like I said, little case, £3.99, and you're in. Want a slightly better one, but still plays, you know, still plays just a Game Boy and Mega Drive and Master, all that shit. The Family Pocket cost about 24 quid, I think, like that. The case I actually found in my loft when I was, you know, well, I won't clean that, my wife. Turn it on. Graphics on this are super cool, super crisp. You got the Neo Geo, which is again retro. You got the CPS-1. You've got the Famicom, Super Famicom. You got the Mega Drive. You got the Famicom, Game Boy Color, Game Boy, Sega Master System, Game Gear. Game Gear was brilliant, wasn't it? And the SG-1000. Do you know what? I don't even know what the SG-1000 is, to be fair. Looks a bit like the old Amiga kind of graphics, doesn't it? But you've got 53 games on it. You know, I'm sure there's one kind of game. Push B to go back. You know, you've got the Game Gear. I used to like the Game Gear. 195 games on it. 195. Got some good games. Streets. I quite like this bit of Sonic. I quite like the old Streets of Rage. Oh, Scratch Golf. I love golf games. Quite like Streets of Rage on the Master System. It seems a bit harder than the Mega Drive version, but you know. But look, you've got all these games. Bargain. Game Boy. Oh, look, on Double Dragon. Look, I fucking love that, don't we? And, you know, a Game Boy Double Dragon, you know, I think it's going to set you back about a tenner, isn't it? You know, at least a tenner probably. Like, I haven't seen one for a long time, like, but the Game Boy cartridge, it's got to be a tenner. Like I said, this was 24 quid, and I'd had that for years. And it just found the loft after a couple of years. So, you know, if you just want a retro handheld, don't waste your money, under 50, 200 quid. Just get one of these, like a Family Pocket or a GB300 or an M17. M17s can play PSP okay and PlayStation 1 okay. Right, that's me done, guys.